Notre Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as the
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
Afternoon, it's Brian Harden here at Notre Dame. We've got Manti Te'o available in our auditorium here. We're going to start with questions from the media assembled here at Notre Dame first before taking any questions from any of the callers.
Manti, what's your knowledge on the Notre Dame-Miami series? Have you heard anything about the history of the series and any of that?
Yeah, I know there's a pretty good rivalry between us and Miami, and it dates back to the 80s, I think. So, I'm very aware of that.
Any motivation to draw upon that, or that's just history and that doesn't have any impact on this game this weekend?
I mean, we understand the history. We understand the history of this ball game, but we also understand the importance of, being ourselves. Not necessarily buying into the whole hype of a rivalry game, but just being ourselves and preparing the same way. Not getting anxious, not getting overly excited. Just being calm and just preparing the way we've always prepared.
Tuesday, Coach Kelly was talking about the process of building a winner, and you've been a part of this rise in the last 3 years, and he talked about eradicating some of the issues, some of the negatives. And I think what he's saying is, getting rid of the things that cause you to lose. What have been some of those things that have been eradicated in the last 3 years?
I can't really pinpoint anything specifically, but when Coach Kelly and his coaching staff came in, they first said in order for us to start winning, we have to stop losing. And that goes to, the way that we practice, approaching every day with a mindset of getting better, not being satisfied with our performance, not buying into the hype, to always, have a high expectations for ourselves and for our teammates, and holding each other and ourselves to those expectations, holding each other to those expectations off the field. And I think our team has done a tremendous job in following through with the expectations that we hold for ourselves and that Coach Kelly has for us. So I think that has a definite direct correlation to our success thus far in this season.
You play with a lot of emotion, and when I was asking Coach Kelly about Bennett yesterday, he said that's something that really jumped out about him too. He just plays with his heart on his sleeve a lot. What have you kind of seen from Bennett this year that really enabled him to be a frontline, reliable guy? And I'm just kind of curious on defense, how much does playing with emotion help, to be productive?
I think as far as addressing Bennett Jackson, he is definitely one who plays with a lot of emotion, and he's not afraid to display that emotion. And I think Bennett's greatest strength is that Bennett hates to lose. He hates to lose, and he especially hates to be the reason why we lost. Now, he's never been the reason why we've lost, but he's always tried to work his hardest to make sure that he's not a liability out there, and not only himself, but the other DBs. And so, as far as game experience, he's considered a young guy, but if you look at it, his maturity, he seems like a mature player, and he is a mature player. The way he's responded day in and day out, the way he's worked, the minutes and the hours that he's put in extra to really try to improve his craft. And so, I think addressing your other question about playing with emotion, every player plays a different way. Every player has his own style of playing. For myself, I like to play with a lot of emotion, but yet still try to be humble at the same time. But I think on the defensive side, it's just a different mentality. You have to. It's a physical game, as we know. Football is a very physical game, and you you just gotta approach this game from a different set of eyes. On the defensive side of the ball, you have to do a lot of hitting, and so I think when you play with emotion, it helps to get yourself in that mindset.
I was kind of curious, when you came in here, you were asked to play right away. There's a lot put on you. Everett, he redshirted last year, still very early as a young guy. Do you take any time to talk to him about, hey, here's what expectations are like, here's how you can deal with it? I know you've had some tough times, but just kind of keep your head up, or do you give him any advice to kind of keep him on a good track?
Actually, right before I came in here, I was talking with Everett. I was sitting with him, talking to him, and the thing about Everett is he's always looking to get better. I'm not the one who pulls him on the side. He's actually the one that comes up to me and asks me, what am I doing? What can I do better? What does the offense look like from your point of view? And our conversation, I just told him, I've always been a believer that a player's best friend is his confidence. And if a player doesn't have confidence, he's not going to be very good. And if you're here at Notre Dame, you are here for a reason. You're here because you can play football. You're here because of a lot of reasons. But if you don't have that confidence that you had, you're not going to be successful. So with every young player, the hardest thing to do is not necessarily learn the playbook, but just have the confidence that you can make plays. And it's just like riding a bike. Once it happens, it'll be easy. And so with Everett, I think that's something that he's trying to fight through every day.
Big picture as a captain, and something Coach Kelly's talked about, tuning out the noise and not getting into the hype and all that stuff. Is that easy to do? And I guess how important is that actually, do you think?
Oh, I think it's the most important thing. I was talking to Cap just recently, and I was telling him, this is the most critical part of our season. We've never been 4-0. We've never been 4-0. I've never been 4-0 here. And so it's very crucial for us to really settle down. Settle down. We're getting a lot of praise, and we're getting a lot of, pats on our back. And that's nice. It's always nice to be, feel that, that kind of support. But we have to really just avoid all that stuff. Really know who we are and remember, most importantly, what got us to this point. And that's hard work. That's just getting after it in practice. And I think our guys have done a great job this week, and our coaches have really, emphasized, just getting to work every day at practice. And that will help with keeping ourselves focused. And so we've done a great job.
Have you had any experiences in the last week where you've overheard a conversation between a couple players that have been like, hey, did you see us on ESPN? Or like, did you see Manti on the cover of Sports Illustrated, where you've had any concerns about that hype or that noise starting to seep in?
No, to be honest with you, no. I haven't heard any of that kind of stuff from any of my teammates.
Manti, you're right. We asked Coach Te'o last week what made you a great player and what made you a special player. I'm going to flip it for you. What is it about Coach Te'o that makes him such a successful coach here in your third year?
I think Coach Te'o is not only one of the best coaches in the country, but one of the best coaches in life. When you have a team that not only plays for themselves and each other, but plays for their coach, it makes that team very, very strong and very, very special. And I think a lot of people credit the change of our defense to the personnel that we have, the front seven, or our DBs, how fast they are, how the speed. We're the same guys that 2 years ago people were saying they're slow. Their defense is slow. The only thing that I can tell you has been the greatest change is our coach, Coach Te'o. He's really cultivated that feeling of a family, that feeling that I can call Coach Te'o if I ever need anything. It could be 3 a.m, and I call him, and he'll pick his phone up, and he'll come help me. And so our relationship with Coach Te'o extends far beyond the football field. He's our mentor. He's He's our second dad, you know what I mean? And when you have that connection with a coach, you'll do whatever for him. You'll do anything for him. And I think our defense has really paid tribute to him and the sacrifices that he and our other coaches on the defensive side of the ball have made to make us the successful defense that we are thus far.
Kind of going back to the 4-0 start, obviously it doesn't get you anything for October or November, but how important was it for maybe this program, this team that you've been around now for 4 years, to have a successful start like this? Just to, I mean, getting, as you said, accolades are good if don't let it go to your head. It seems like this team really needed that. A lot of people were doubting you before the season.
I think, you know, with our team is coming in, we didn't really think of, you know, having a fast start. We thought of it as the importance of being 1-0, the importance of beating Navy. Then after Navy was the importance of beating Purdue. After Purdue was the importance of beating Michigan State, then Michigan, and now we have Miami. So we take it day by day, week by week, game by game. And I think when we look back at the end of the season, we'll see how we've done. But so far, we've done pretty good at just taking it game by game.
The last one from me with Miami. What's special? It seems like they're a much different offense, obviously, than you faced during that September run through the Big Ten. What special challenges do they pose for your D?
They have a lot of speed. I think this group of skilled players is the best unit that we've faced so far. And, you know, they do a lot of things well. They have a great coach that, you know, has changed the mentality at the University of Miami. And they have just a quarterback that has seen some success so far and has done pretty good. And so as a defense, you know, we have to do what we do and come out and play hard and play for 4 quarters. And as an offense, we just got to keep, you know, like I said, just being us and just getting after it for 4 quarters. And, you know, we'll see what the score is at the end.
Manti, to your left, you think about Danny Spahn a little over a month ago. He was in a hospital bed. Now, 2 weeks ago, he was setting the edge against Denard Robinson and helping you guys win the football game. What have you learned about Danny since he went through this health ordeal, and how is he impacting the defense right now?
Dan Spahn is one of the most mentally tough guys that I've ever met. You know, for him, he came in as a quarterback, and now he's an outside linebacker taking on 300-pound linemen. And that's a big change. And you have to be mentally strong before you could be physically strong to even make that mental jump from, okay, I'm going to drop back and throw the ball, to now I'm going to set the edge on 300-pound linemen. So he had to be mentally strong for that. Now he gets into a little situation where he got hurt. And for him to come back as fast as he did, we weren't even sure if Danny Spahn was going to even be able to play football again. And I remember that day he got hurt, and Dan Fox and I went to go visit him in the hospital. It didn't look too good, you know, and we were expecting the worst. And 2 or 3 weeks later, he was back on the field in full pads, practicing. And then he was on the field, you know, against Michigan and you know, helping us win. And that just goes to show his commitment to this team, the sacrifices he's made to be on this team, and the sacrifice he'll continue to make to play a key role on our team and help us win.
Yeah, Manti, right here. Could you just talk about your time away and how that helped you and how long you were gone?
My time away, it was really nice. It was real nice to see my grandma. It was real nice to just be with my family again. And, you know, I think the worst thing about it was there's so much food that I ate a lot of food, man. And luckily for me, you know, I had a little bit more discipline this time, so I didn't take too far of a step back, but it was just an amazing experience for me to be home and, you know, have some closure with, you know, and say goodbye to my grandma and see my family, make sure everybody was okay and make sure that my mom was okay. And my mom's a strong woman. She was actually worried about me. But, You know, it was nice to be with them, and I'll see my parents in a week, and so it should be nice to see them soon.
Was it difficult to put that process on hold and to be here? I know the family here helped you a lot, but it had to have been, okay, I'm focused on football, but there is a bigger picture in that light.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely hard. It's possibly the hardest thing that I've had to do so far, to be able to operate, to be able to try and continue with my daily routine, but knowing that I just lost two women whom I truly love, and that was the hardest thing. Another hardest thing was my girlfriend's service was on the day of Michigan's game, and I remember when I found out, I knew when they were going to close the casket and all that stuff, and it was during a walkthrough, and I remember I asked Coach Diaco, Coach, what time is it? And he said it's 12:01, and that would be 9 o'clock. 9:01 California time, and 9 o'clock was when they closed the casket for my girlfriend. So I had a moment then, but I've never felt so strong, spiritually strong, and I could never thank the student body, the fans all around the world for all their love and all their prayers and all their support. I've truly felt all of that, and it's helped me to get through these past 3 weeks. And I'm truly grateful, and I'm truly humbled. And like I said, I can't thank him enough.
We all saw the pictures of the Lays and you even jumping up into the crowd. I mean, when you looked up there and saw everybody, I mean, what were the emotions that were flooding through you?
Man, I can't describe how I was feeling. I felt a sense of peace, that I had so many people that cared about Manti instead of number 5. And I had that feeling that, people are starting to understand, what life is truly about. It's, football is just a game, and then there's a game of life. And people are starting to realize that. And I'm just happy that, I was able to be a part of that and experience that on Saturday and see, all that support for myself, my family, and those who've lost loved ones, like my brother TJ Jones. I told him, this is just as much for you as it is for me. I mean, this for your dad. I'm not the only one who lost a loved one. This is for Stefan's dad. This is for everybody who's lost a loved one, and it shows that families are forever. And so that was possibly the greatest experience that I've had so far here at Notre Dame.
Have you seen some of the things like with the Heisman talk? And I even saw something that said, "Play like a champion," and it was PLEI, like a lay. Kind of fun stuff going on right now, just supporting you and how well you're playing.
I've seen some of it, and it's definitely very it's very exciting. It's very humbling at the same time. And I'm very grateful for, all the support, like I said, that my family and my girlfriend's family have received from so many people.
And finally, for me, just each time you go out, I'm sure it's almost like a living tribute for you to play hard for them, or maybe you're carrying something inside you that maybe helps you play a little harder, if that's even possible.
I think, something that my girlfriend always stressed to me was always be humble. And I think, if anything, this experience has truly humbled me and has strengthened my relationship with my Heavenly Father. And, I've always said that, if I'm on God's team, I can't be beat. If I'm on God's team, there's nobody that can stand against me. And so, losing, my girlfriend and losing my grandma has really strengthened my relationship with my Heavenly Father, and I felt His presence in my life, and I hope that has shown by the way I've played and the way I've conducted myself on and off the field, and I hope to continue that, and as I continue down this season.
Manti, I've here started to snap back into football mode a little bit abruptly, but a lot of turnovers for you guys this year, and you've been sort of in the middle of a lot of them, whether creating them or creating pressure and that type of thing. Have you had a specific focus this year on being more of a playmaker and creating things like that?
I think for me, I've just focused on having fun. just going back to the basics of having fun and really cherishing every single down. Every single down I really try to take advantage of. As a defense, you sometimes, rush to third down. Just get to third down, just get to third down. We just get a 3 and out. Let's just get to third down. But this year, I just try to, take every down. Okay, it's first down. What do they like to do? Let's try to make a big play on first down. Why wait to third down? Okay, we didn't make a play first down. Let's try to make a play on second down. And so now I just try to do anything and everything I can to help our team win. When I came back, everybody's asking me, what's your goal for this season? And I just said win. That's all I want to do is just win. And I'm just glad that, for 4 weeks so far, I've had the opportunity to do just that, as, along with my teammates, do whatever it takes to win.
Talked about having fun on the field. Do you have a chance to have fun with all the stuff going on around you off the field, the Heisman stuff, the Sports Illustrated cover, any of that, or is that white noise to you? Yeah,
for me, that's great. I'm very thankful. I mean, it's kind of surreal, that I'm on that Heisman list. That I used to make myself as a running back on, the video games and win the Heisman, being a running back, as a fictional character. But to be actually, a candidate for that, and in real life is, really, it's a real surprise for me. But all that does for me is it shows me that I'm heading in the right direction. I'm doing what I need to do, and I just got to continue to do what I got to do.
So what does a defensive player need to do to win himself the Heisman?
First, they got to keep winning. That's the main thing. You just got to keep winning. And to be honest with you, if I keep winning and I don't win the Heisman, I'll be so happy. I mean, if I just want to win, let's be honest with you. And if my play during those games of winning, helps me win the Heisman, then so be it. But I just want to win.
Manti, just this game this weekend, the fact that it's in Chicago, pro stadium, all that kind of stuff. Is there some extra excitement from a team standpoint just for that?
I don't think so for our team, well, at least for myself. I think, one of the best things about coming to Notre Dame is every year you play in a nice stadium. We play in Yankee Stadium, we play in the Giants Stadium, we play in Redskins Stadium, and we play in some nice venues. And so, this is going to be another venue that we get to play in that none of us have been in. So I don't think, it's anything different. The field is still 120 yards long. Football is still the same shape. Touchdown is still worth 6 points. So at the end of the game, whoever has the most points wins.
You've talked a lot about a lot of different teammates so far. Especially the young guys, anyone in particular really that's impressed you more than others so far this year?
Kivari Russell has really impressed me. Just not necessarily his athleticism, but his approach to the game. He's always wanted to get better, always. It's kind of ridiculous how bad he wants to get better. After the Navy game where he felt that he cost us a touchdown, he texted me and said, bro, I'm going to do whatever it takes to not let our defense down again. He called Robert Blanton and talked to Robert Blanton for hours just to see what he could do to be the best DB he could possibly be. So, like I said, it's not necessarily his athleticism and the courage he's displayed to be out there in a Division I college team and play against guys who are also on Division I scholarships and do well, but just his daily approach to the game.
Manti, Coach said yesterday that when his staff came in, his first evaluation of you was that you didn't know how to play the position yet. I'm sure you've learned a lot, but can you just talk about what's the biggest thing you learned? What's the biggest difference on how you're playing now than maybe you were as a freshman?
I think the biggest difference for me is that I've learned that when Coach says that I have to go from point A to point B, it doesn't necessarily mean I have to do it exactly the way he tells me to do it. I can get to point A to point B the way I want to do it as long as I get to point B. You understand? I'll do it the way I want to do it. I'll do it the way I feel that I'm better at doing it. And I think that's worked to my advantage. That I've matured and I've gained the confidence, and coach has given me the leeway and the confidence to, feel comfortable to play within myself and within the scheme. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me is learning that I can get from point A to point B the way I want to, and just being a veteran player, knowing tendencies, seeing things all the time, and so the game slows down a lot.
And also, you mentioned before the tragedies that after the Purdue game, you looked at that game and you weren't happy with how you played. What did you see and what did you decide? What caused you to maybe do something different?
I just saw a very frustrated player, a guy who was very frustrated. It was a very frustrating game for me personally, and it was a performance that, back to the expectation, wasn't up to my expectations for myself, and it was something that I needed to change and something that I needed to be very careful of. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the first game of my senior season, or I don't know. But I just wasn't myself, and I was very frustrated. I committed a penalty that just a foolish penalty, and just something that's not me. And so, I've just had to, just come back to square one and just be myself.
And a lot of the players, some of the players talked about there's a sense of a brotherhood among the defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
You're the leader of the team. They talked about you kind of helping cause that. How have you done that? How did that happen?
I think for me, I had the great opportunity when I started playing football. I started playing with my dad as the head coach, my uncle as the assistant coaches, and my cousins playing alongside me. So it wasn't necessarily a team; it was a family. I played with my cousins. I played with my dad. And whenever something happened to my cousin, or whenever the opposing coach said something to my dad, I take it personal. And I felt that, whenever a team is like that, where you do anything for the guy beside you, that's when you have a special team. And I think our defense and our offense, our team in general just has really, grown that whole family feel. That, if anything happens to you, I will be there. If I'll do whatever it takes for you, I'll do whatever it takes to help this team win. You'll hear that conversation in this locker room a lot more often.
Do you think what you've been through the past 2 weeks kind of even helped that even grow a little more?
I think it was another experience for our team to grow. I wasn't expecting it to happen the way it did, but as goes to show that the types of players we have in this locker room, they came around and they helped lift me up. They came around to help support me. They didn't have to, but like I said, that family feel with this team is something that's very special, and I think when you're playing for somebody else besides yourself, you can do some special things.
I'm sure you're aware that a lot of fans and people, reporters too, follow your Twitter feeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that you have a quote from the Count of Monte Cristo as your profile thing. What does that quote mean to you? And was it put up right after this all happened?
No, that's actually been up since I made my account. It's just one day, everything will be good. Everything will be great. And then one day you'll be in the middle of a storm. And what makes you a man is what you do when that storm comes. And so, we're gonna have our ups and our downs. We're gonna have our good days and bad days. But for me, I've learned that when that storm does come, what foundation do I have? What am I gonna lean on? And I've learned that I'm going to lean on my Heavenly Father. I'm going to lean on my family, and I'm going to lean on my teammates. I've always learned that when life gets hard walking, try walking it on your knees. Like I said, my relationship with my Heavenly Father has never been so strong, and I think that has a definite connection with how I've been doing on the football field.
Let's see if we have any questions from any of the callers.
At this time, if you would like to enter the queue for a question, please press the star and 1 on your touchtone keypad. We do have a question from Dennis Dobb with CBSSports.com.
Hey, Manti, Uncle Alema said hello today.
Oh, tell him I said hi, please.
I just wanted to know, when you were being recruited, did you always have the feeling that Notre Dame, I know it was a tough choice, but did you always have the feeling Notre Dame wanted you the most? I know Brian Pullian came over there 11 times. Charlie came over 3 times, I think. Did you get that feeling?
I think, I wouldn't say the most, but I would say, between Stanford, USC, and Notre Dame, I received the most attention from them.
What did you know about Notre Dame, really, when they were recruiting you? I mean, you knew where it was, but what did you know about the school, the tradition, the climate, and everything?
To be honest with you, I didn't know. I didn't really know anything about Notre Dame. I didn't know where it was. My first game, actually, Notre Dame game that I actually watched was in 2005 when the Bush push happened. And coincidentally, I was cheering for the other team, but I didn't really know anything about Notre Dame. But my parents know a lot about Notre Dame. Not a lot, but it was just, Notre Dame was held to a different standard. When I received that official letter from Notre Dame, it was kind of just a wow kind of thing. So. I didn't know much, but I knew that much that when I received that letter, that my parents kind of had to take a step back a little.
Did the Bush push game, even though you're rooting for USC, kind of change you or get Notre Dame into your mind?
Not really. Back then I was a very faithful fan to the Trojans, so it was a really good game, and that's about it. I just remember that.
Didn't you show up on campus, I think, with flip-flops and shorts and a long shirt? Wasn't that the case?
Yeah, I had some slippers in my bag. I showed up with jean shorts and a long-sleeve T-shirt, and I think it was the coldest recorded game in Notre Dame history. So.
Also, I talked to Uncle Alema about this too. He thinks your life is your mission. What you've done to this point and what you will do in your life. What went into that decision not to take a mission?
It's just it's the same process that I went through to make my decision to come here. I just got on my knees and I prayed and I fasted and I really asked Heavenly Father, what am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? Is serving a 2-year mission my mission, or can I stay here at Notre Dame and make my life my mission and the things I do here at Notre Dame and on, could that be my mission? Could I do missionary work through that? And I just felt that I could, and I just hope that what I've done so far has equal to that.
And if I could ask one more real quick, no one would question how any person grieved, but what went into your decision, or did you think at all about going back for your girlfriend's service? I understand you had a game that day, but what was the decision there?
I really wanted to see her. But I knew that she made me promise. One day she made me promise that she said, "Babe, if anything happens to me, you promise that you'll stay over there, and that you'll play, and that you'll honor me through the way you play, and know that I would rather have you there than just make sure that." All she wanted was some white roses. White is her favorite color, so she just wanted some white roses, and that's all she asked for. So I sent her roses, and sent her 2 pics along with that. So it was good.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Brandon O'Dwyer with exofan.com. Go ahead, please.
Hey, how you doing, Manti? I was just curious about what you know about Duke Johnson. What have you seen from him on tape, and just your comments about what it's going to be like to face an electric freshman running back like that?
Duke Johnson is a very explosive running back. He's a very dynamic player who he'll make plays. Catching the ball, running the ball, and on special teams. So for us, we just gotta, everybody's got to get to the ball, especially with Duke. He'll jump cut, he'll split defenders, and so everybody has to get to the ball, and everybody has to do their best in playing within our scheme, and realizing that Duke has a chance to break it at any time.
Okay, and if I could just have one follow-up about Stephen Morris. Obviously, he's had some incredible games. He got a little overshadowed, but he did throw for 566 last week. What are your thoughts on him, and what it's going to be like to match up against a quarterback with a big arm and who can throw the ball around?
Yeah, definitely. Stephen, he's really improved his game and has done a real good job in leading his team. He has a lot of weapons around him, and he knows how to throw the ball around, and he's seen some success so far, and I'm sure he'll continue to see success throughout his season. For us, we just got to be ourselves. We have to get after him when we pressure, and when we don't, we really got to stay in our zones and stay in man whenever whatever the call is. But as always, respect your opponent, know what they can do. Know your opponent, know the terrain, and you should be fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question comes from Susan Miller-Dinion with the Miami Herald. Your line is open.
Hey there. I'm just wondering what it's like for you to, go against no-huddle offenses, and how do things change for the defense when you face one?
I think, if you're talking to a defense that knows how to go against a no-huddle offense, it'll be us. Our offense doesn't go into a no-huddle, doesn't have a huddle, and it's pretty up-tempo. So, it's something that's not new for us. And it's obviously a different, it brings a different aspect to the game, but it's nothing new for us.
Okay. The other thing is, this is about the temperature, which you'll probably think it's kind of funny, but for the kids in South Florida, I know you were in the Sun Bowl game and it was 34 degrees, which was, and a lot of the kids from Miami had never seen snow before.
Mm-hmm.
For them, I think, I haven't checked today, but it's going to be kind of chilly, possibly in Chicago. I know that obviously the heat is a major factor for UM's opponents, when they play in South Florida. Do you think the cold, has any effect on the way people play if they're not used to it? How it affects you?
I think, I really don't know. It's
you probably don't think 30 whatever or the high 30s is very cool, right?
I'm from Hawaii, so we don't really get 30-degree weather. So I would say, as long as when you get into the swing of things, when the game kicks off and things are going, at the end of the day, it's football. Obviously, you're going to feel the bite of the cold sometimes, and when you're in the heat, you're obviously going to feel the scorch of the sun. But at the end of the day, it's football.
The other thing is that game at the Sun Bowl. I don't know if anybody asked you this before, but I think you might have hurt your knee after that game. I'm not sure, but what was that like for you? And again, this team Miami team was going through a lot. They had an interim coach, and they had just lost their coach, and it was kind of a stressful time for them. How does this whole thing feel different this year?
As far as
just the whole aura of the game and that team, that they seem a lot different, from the other team you got ready for.
Oh yeah, obviously they have a new coach, and their coach is a real good coach, and he's done a great job in changing the mindset of that team. And so we understand who they are and who they are now, and their strengths, and we just gotta be ourselves and understand who we are and understand who they are, and get ready for Saturday and just play Notre Dame football.
Thank you. One other thing, number 5, their running back. Can you say anything about him, Mike James?
Oh, Mike James, he's their leader. Obviously, they have Duke Johnson, he's a dynamic player. But I think that Mike James, he's a real good player. He's a try-hard guy who always drives his legs through contact, and that poses something that defenses could have some trouble with that. But definitely he's somebody that. That's a weapon for them and somebody that we have to look out for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And our final question comes from Brian Hamilton with Chicago Tribune. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Manti, real quick, what did you think of the Sports Illustrated cover?
It was nice. I haven't had a chance to actually hold the magazine yet, but. Hopefully, my parents got theirs. Main thing was that I could show my mom and dad. That was the main excitement that I got out of it. That it was one of those experiences that I could show my parents.
Great. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
We have no more phone questions at this time.
Great, thanks everyone. We'll have a transcript posted on our website later this